النشيد كوستاريكي.
كوستاريكا. تشكيلة إسبانيا: أوني سيمون، جوردي ألبا، إيمريش لابورت، رودري، سيزار أزيبليكوتا، بيدري، كابيتانو سيرجيو بوسكيتس،
سيرجيو بوسكيتس ورودري في التشكيلة.
غافي،
تسمى
غافي خط الهجوم
4-3-3.
4-3-3. داني أولمو، ماركو أسينسيو.
غافي ملعبو في الاتاك.
لا، الهجوم داني أولمو، ماركو أسينسيو وفيران توريس. بيدري، سيرجيو بوسكيتس، غافي.
رودري ملعبو في لا ديفونس.
ايه
ما كانش منها. سانك. رودري كيلعب في الميليو.
ديفونس. ديفونس.
كيفاه في الديفونس؟ كان كيلعب في السيتي.
Aymeric Laporte in that back line with Chelsea skipper Cesar
Azpilicueta
preferred to Dani Carvajal, who's been struggling with illness, as has Alvaro Morata, who's also on the bench. So Olmo, Asensio and Torres, the front three. For Costa Rica, Sunderland teenager Jefferson Bennett makes his World Cup bow for them. They have the experience of Keylor Navas in goal, Brian Oviedo in defence, Celso Borges in midfield. You've got the former Arsenal attacker Joel Campbell in there as well, and Brian Ruiz, their captain, the former Fulham man, 37 years young, is on the bench. And when you look at the players that will influence it in terms of the experience, I mean, two stand out is the captains for either side, isn't it? Busquets, who is the only survivor of Spain's World Cup win back in 2010, and Keylor Navas, who we talk about Costa Rica in 2014. Navas, and you will love to talk about this, Rob Green, had an absolutely unbelievable tournament that year.
Fantastic tournament, fantastic time, and he's had a fantastic career, and it may be coming towards the tail end of it. He's viewing it as his last chance of glory on an international scene, and you know what, they'll sit tight, they'll sit deep. It's a defensive line that's getting, they won't want to be chasing back, but there's no one really in this Spain team that will run past and run beyond them. So there's not that to fear in that respect. Busquets, everything will go through him. He'll dictate the play. You expect Rodri to step up alongside. Centre-backs are going to be largely unoccupied.
Yeah, it's that classic phrase about Busquets, isn't it? If you watch the game, you don't see Busquets. But if you watch Busquets, you see the game. And the influence that he still has, even at this stage of his career for Spain, is absolutely huge. And it is Spain who get us underway playing in all red. Costa Rica in all whites. Spain playing from right to left in this first half. And Spain it is who win the early throw over on the far side. We've had a shock defeat for Germany already in this group today. That is Spain's next match on Sunday. Can they take advantage, or will they go the way of Germany and Argentina and suffer a shock defeat in their opener? Costa Rica know how to do that. From 2014 they did it. They got out of the toughest group arguably at that tournament, and they have 5 players in this starting lineup who were in that squad 8 years ago. But it's Spain in possession, and we know we'll be saying that a lot this evening. And they'll just knock it around between them, Rodri and Aymeric Laporte. Of course, it's a position that we know Rodri has played for Spain and Manchester City, but clearly more usually used in that defensive midfield role. But as you say, Rob Green, it does give them the option to push him up into midfield, where Spain have the ball now with Alba in field once more to Pedri, and now back to Rodri on the halfway line.
Yeah, just looking at this Costa Rica bit shape and looking at the front two.
As Spain come down the right-hand Costa Rican penalty area. Good challenge. The back by the experienced Brian Oviedo, the former Everton and Sunderland man, and it goes out for a Spain corner. 90 seconds played.
Torres on the right hand side. He's got the space because they're having such a narrow back line, such a narrow midfield for Campbell and Contreras in up front. Realise the importance of Busquets. Both of them dropping and sitting on Busquets. It's going to be tight in there.
So early test for the Costa Rican backline, and Keylor Navas, 35 years old, as the Spain corner is swung in. It's met by Costa Rica and sent up towards the halfway line and all the way back by Spain. First touch for Unai Simon in the Spain goal. So good to see how he recovered from what was a real error against Croatia at the Euros. Overall, a decent tournament for Simon, but it's one of those things that mentally as a goalkeeper, you just don't know what it's going to do to a young goalkeeper, and he's come through it, played well since then, and very much established as the Spain number one.
Yeah, it was good to see him get a chance, and the confidence of a manager to say, I need him, he's good with his feet, yes, he plays out, yes, it looks shaky at times, but it's really important as to how they play.
Just breaks down for Spain outside the Costa Rican penalty area, and Costa Rica will play it around, charged down well by Dani Olmo, but will be cleared away at the back by Francisco Calvo, up towards halfway, where Spain will win the header with Busquets out to the right-hand side. Will just be kept in. Costa Rica get the foot in, but Spain will pick it up once more, just inside the Costa Rican half. Goalless here, 3 minutes played, as Jordi Alba picks it up for Spain on the left-hand side. And now forward to Ferran Torres. Back to Alba, and the pattern is set. Spain passing it around. Lovely work there by Asensio. Played the ball in field. It's cut out by Celso Borges. Huge experience for Costa Rica and Costa Rica. Well, midway through their own half, and we can take you through the team. So Simon in goal for Spain, the back four of Azpilicueta, Rodri, Laporte and Alba. Ahead of them, it's Gavi becoming their youngest World Cup debutant at just 18 years of age still. Busquets, 34 years of age, and Pedri, 19. So the full range of ages there in the Spain midfield. And then forward is Ferran Torres, Asensio and Dani Olmo. Spain pick it up just outside their own penalty area. Costa Rica with Navas in goal. The back four of Martinez, Duarte, Calvo and Oviedo. Ahead of them, it's Tejeda and Borges, their most capped player, with Fuller, Campbell, formerly of Arsenal, Jefferson Bennett of Sunderland, supporting Contreras, who's had a remarkable rise with the national side up front. Here goes Ferran Torres down the left-hand side for Spain, in field to Jordi Alba. Ball into the penalty area, looking for the run at the far side, and it's across the box and a cross past the far post from Dani Olmo, and behind for a Costa Rica goal kick. Great chance for Spain inside the opening 5 minutes, and Dani Olmo.
Yeah, huge chance, and Dani Olmo, it's an amazing opportunity on the volley, because the pace, there's enough pace on the ball. He gets to see it all the way over the defender's shoulder. Grimaces at the thought of missing it, because actually you're expecting him to at least hit the target with that big opportunity. Bit of a difficult bind for Costa Rica already. Do they go and press? Do they drop off? There, they got it wrong. They pressed, they got played through, never really recovered in shape, and then they had the time to pick the pass from midfield.
Well, he has scored 3 goals for RB Leipzig this season, Dani Olmo. Big opportunity there as Spain have it just inside their own half and spray it out to Rodri, who plays it forward looking for Asensio. Now out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba, here is Olmo popping off the left now. Well, marshalled out at the back by Carlos Martinez for Costa Rica, and Costa Rica have a throw. Now, I had to dive into my sticker book. All us commentators do it differently. I have little stickers with the nose. I realised when I was reading the lineup, guess who I put at right wing? Pau Torres, rather than Ferran Torres. I looked at that, I thought that's not right. Ferran Torres it is. And Spain win the ball back from Costa Rica on the halfway line. 6 minutes gone, 0-0. And Rodri in possession in the centre circle.
I hate to tell you, there's one in the Costa Rica team as well. So.
Torres here, Torres there, Torres everywhere. Spain in possession just inside the Costa Rica half. It's backs to the wall at the moment for the Costa Ricans as Spain switch the play out to the right-hand side, but they won't keep that in, and the ball goes out of play for a Costa Rica throw.
Dani Olmo and Ferran Torres have swapped a few times already in the shape of the game. I think that's going to be a feature them high and wide. Costa Rica just playing the 4 at the back. They're going to have to, whether the ball's on the right, ignoring the right winger, on the left, ignoring the far-sided player.
And here they come once more with Pedri, the Barcelona 19-year-old. Played back to Busquets, who spreads the play to Jordi Alba. Very much a Barcelona flavour about this Spain starting lineup as Pedri lifts it forward once more. Alba tried to play it back, half a shot for handball. Olmo will play the ball in, and it's collected easily by Keylor Navas.
Yeah, might well have been hit him on the arm, but there's no chance of it being a handball. So they've been quite adventurous in their shape, Costa Rica. They're playing 2 up front almost. There's just so much space in there for people wanting to say Barcelona. It is the Barcelona players, it's the Spain players, but mainly the Barcelona players in midfield with the time and the space and the room to operate.
Here is Azpilicueta, plays it out to the right-hand side. Well, Costa Rica, this won't be a surprise to them. They know, and their coach, Luis Fernando Suarez, will know as well that Spain are going to dominate the ball. It's about keeping your shape and trying to take those opportunities, get the ball forward to those attacking players. Anthony Contreras, almost amongst those. His dad actually quit his job, Contreras, to go and watch their Intercontinental Cup playoff win to get through to the World Cup. It was one of those where he's trying to get time off work. It was proving very difficult, and he thought, no, that'll be my son. They got through, and I hope he's here today. Here is Pedri, plays it to the edge of the penalty area, just past the post from Asensio, who was coming in. Navas was diving, might have had it covered, but it's a lovely Spain move.
Yeah, as you would imagine, the Spanish type of goal chance that they create, the one-touch football through the middle, and the midfield is just too split. Navas had it covered. It wasn't the greatest of strikes just wide, but you can see them just getting their angles, getting the combinations, going up through the gears. It's going to be a tough ride for Costa Rica to see this through.
Navas it is who sends the goal kick long over the halfway line. It is flicked on for the run of Joel Campbell, but Spain get bodies in the way. And that's the thing for Spain at the back. Laporte and Rodri, so proficient in the air as well when called upon. Those high balls up from Costa Rica.
Well, it's an interesting choice not to pick Garcia. And he's saying, well, he's not the biggest up against Campbell up there. And that's the out ball. That's what they'll look for. They need bodies around him. But with those 2 guys at the back, as you say, Vicky, it's going to be tough to get out.
And here comes Spain. Azpilicueta bursting down the right-hand side as Gavi drifts into the box. Spain win the throw over on the far side. And Azpilicueta, the Chelsea captain, will jog over to take. Preferred to Carvajal today. Car's been struggling with illness, as has Morata. Those 2 on the bench. But it also allows Spain to drop into that back 3 as well, which obviously several combinations of players can do. But Azpilicueta is certainly one of those if Carvajal is not quite feeling 100%. Olmo has it on the left-hand side for Spain here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, all the way back to Aymeric Laporte. He will square it to Rodri. Spain in possession on the halfway line.
The feeling, the way the game's going now.
Well there, he loses the ball initially, then times the tackle well on the edge of the area, but Spain have it back once more. Here is Olmo. 30 yards out or so. Busquets out to the... And it comes to him via the foot of Sergio Busquets. Out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba now. And this is where it's just about concentration for Costa Rica as Spain zip it around. Alba whips it in, a little bit of space for Olmo. Will come to the edge of the box, sink through again, looking for Olmo, brings it down brilliantly. 1-0 Spain. It's a lovely goal from Dani Olmo. Lovely flowing move from Spain. And Olmo kept his cool, finished off past Navas. And it's Spain who take the lead, 1-0.
Well, from the kickoff, it's been coming. 11 minutes in, it was a matter of time. They're not getting tight, Costa Rica. They don't know who to pick up. The movement's there, the stepping off the line, the stepping into the space, the runners in behind. Dani Olmo timed this one to perfection. Almost intercepted, almost bundled. Just his space, his inclination to make the run in behind. Timed it to perfection. It's a cool finish as Navas comes out, but you have to say they've looked good from the start. Only 10 minutes, they've had complete control. From now on, you think they're just going to grow in confidence and continue.
So we are underway, the ball through. Just watching that replay from Gabby, it does get a bit of deflection on the way through. But Dani Olmo able to bring it down, control it calmly, and slot it past Navas. So Spain with that early breakthrough. Costa Rica trying to build down this right-hand side with Joel Campbell. And the ball goes out of play for a Spain throw.
Just in the build-up to that goal there as well. Had to retain possession and then recycle possession. And it was all Busquets' reading of the game, reading of that long ball out, and he just kept stepping in the way. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Let's go again. And his dictation of this game so far has been impeccable.
So 12 minutes played. It's the champions of 2010 looking to avoid an upset, but as we know, Germany took the lead against Japan, Argentina took the lead against Saudi Arabia. You just never know at the World Cup. Costa Rica in possession. Play it back to Borges, and he will play it back into his own half. And this is Costa Rica's longest spell of possession, and it's been well kept hold of by Carlos Martinez, but his ball forward is ahead of Joel Campbell, and Laporte into his penalty area. Will play that very calmly to Jordi Alba. Nicely laid off by Busquets. Again, just the way that Spain interchange passes. There's so much. Oh, there you go. Commentators curse straight away. The ball from Asensio is played behind Dani Olmo. But I maintain, Rob Green, it's still the confidence with which they play. They know which other are. Yes, they make the odd mistake. Of course they do. They're human. But it's just such a remarkable Spanish.
And he was through. He was in. From the halfway line, he had the length of the pitch to go. And you know that they're playing with confidence. Busquets, again, on the edge of his own box, a one-touch outside of the boot pass, out to the left back. And you're just thinking, hold on a minute, they're playing a different game here to the Costa Ricans.
As Piliqueta over on the far side does just manage to keep it in. And the ball is all the way back with Rodri outside the Spain penalty area. Spain who lead by the goal to nil. Olmo after 11 minutes as Busquets plays it forward to Asensio, who just missed out on that Euro 2020 squad last summer when Spain, of course, reached the semi-finals, only losing on penalties to Italy. But he was part of the young Spain side, one of their overage players that won silver at the Olympics that summer as Gavi goes down. Concedes the free kick, does Francisco Calvo. It will be a free kick to Spain midway through the Costa Rica half, just about level with the right-hand side of that penalty area. Spain on Costa Rica nil.
He's very, very fortunate there. 1-0 down. Should be a yellow card in as well because that was late. That was clinical. That's completely premeditated. And he was way off the pace there. That should be a yellow.
And he's a player that plays on the edge, isn't he? I mean, we've seen a great recovery tackle on the edge of his own penalty area after he'd made a mistake. And as you say there, the last thing you want, 15 minutes in, 1-0 down already, is to have one of your centre-halves on a yellow card when you're facing players with the trickery of Spain. Spain it is standing over this free kick on the far side. Little layoff now will be driven in by Pedri. He was looking for the 1-2 with Olmo. Read well by Costa Rica, and here go Costa Rica with Jefferson Bennett, who goes down. The Sunderland teenager wins the free kick over on the far side midway through the Spain half.
That was a really good free kick idea, and they actually, the man in the one-man wall backed off because he realised he was on his own and he was outnumbered. The space was there to run into, but they'd obviously practiced this in training and thought, well, I better do it because this is what we practice in training, rather than thinking on your feet and saying, I've got 10 yards to run into.
16 minutes gone. Spain lead 1-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Costa Rica free kick just inside the Spain half, which will be taken from the wide left position. Joel Campbell, former Arsenal man, is over it. Sends it to the right-hand side. Calvo was up there, wins the header, but the flag is up on this near side. And it will be a free kick to Spain inside their own penalty area.
Well, it was nearly a touch in the Spain penalty area, but he was offside. He timed it just a fraction too early. I was saying at the start of the game that you could see where Contreras and Campbell, both of them were sitting on Busquets and they realised how dangerous he was. Well, as soon as I said it, both of them stopped doing it. And from that point, he's completely been in complete control of this game.
And Spain in control off the scoreline as well. 1-0 they lead as Rodri brings it up towards the halfway line. We've already had our latest shock of the World Cup today. If you're just joining us, Japan 2-1 winners coming from behind against Germany. That's after Morocco drew 0-0 with Croatia. And one more match for you to come on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Belgium against Canada, 7 p.m. kickoff with John Murray and Dion Dublin. In possession of Spain in the centre circle. Here is Pedri out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba lays it off to the goal scorer, Dani Olmo, who cuts in field from that left wing, tries the 1-2 with Alba, but it's intercepted well by Tejeda of Costa Rica, and he wins the free kick as well. And it will be a free kick to Costa Rica midway through their own half.
Yeah, they're just not getting this right. There's 3 or 4 of them pressing in the Spain half, but looking at that midfield, they're so good technically on the ball. They just play through that. They realise where the space is. They know which of their teammates has got the space, and so they can play through that press. And then they're straight into the back line. You've got to do it as a unit. You've got to do it as a team. You can't do it in 3s and 4s.
Spain in possession with Pedri. Lays it out to the left, and Jordi Alba back to Aymeric Laporte. And the controlling at the moment, I mean, it's hard to overstate. They've got the goal leads. They're comfortable, as we know, in possession. Oh, there you go. That's all I need to do is keep saying it, because every time I wax lyrical about how they're doing it, Spain play it out of play. And I swear to you, that's the second time they've done that, and both times I've been talking about it. So there we go. We know what we need to do if we want a game on our hands.
Right, you're giving Costa Rica hope, but behind the goal to our right-hand side, there's a pocket of Costa Rica travelling fans, and they've been lively at the start before the kickoff. Very, very subdued now.
But here they come. They might rise behind that goal, and they do as one. As Joel Campbell comes down the right-hand side, outside the Spain penalty area. He's well marshalled away by Aymeric Laporte, who just stepped up from that back line out to the left wing. Costa Rica will play it forwards once more as they work it down this right-hand side with Martinez. Back to Joel Campbell, who whips the ball in left-footed. Costa Rica have players over on that far side. Important header won away by Spain. Forward to Ferran Torres, who goes down. Referee says no foul, and Costa Rica will come forwards once more, but they're stopped in their tracks, and now the red shirts will flow over the halfway line, and here is the goal scorer, Dani Olmo, left-hand side, approaching the penalty area, but will stop and check, send it back to Marco Asensio. I'm honest, I thought the whistle had gone there, because it really did stop to walking pace, but Spain have worked it out to the right-hand side now, and the momentum of that Costa Rican attack is gone, and Spain look to build their own momentum. Ticking through the gears, out to the left-hand side, and Jordi Alba in field now to Asensio, who will stop and check and play it back once more, and Busquets is there. He's closed down well by Tejeda, but steers the play out to the right-hand side, and Azpilicueta with Ferran Torres ahead of him, back to Azpilicueta. Spain once more back to the halfway line with Aymeric Laporte.
It's so difficult as a proposition for Costa Rica. Pretty much doing all they can do now is sitting in this 4-4-2, but it's such a tight and narrow 4-4-2. It's just 10 bodies in the way, because they go to press. They just can't get round such a wide, vast space of this pitch is, and you stand there, it feels so big when you're a player in this pitch.
And they're finding space on the left-hand side now. Jordi Alba whips the ball in. Oh, that's a brilliant goal. It's met fabulously by Asensio. First time, brilliant ball from Alba. Brilliant finish from Asensio. Spain lead Costa Rica 2-0.
It was a wonderful finish and a wonderful goal. All of a sudden, just bided their time, waited for the moment to pounce. And as I was saying, Costa Rica have got to go tight, got to go narrow. That provides the space out. One fast ball out wide, one fast ball into the box, one touch finish. They're in complete control of this in early fashion of this game.
And do you know what? If we're talking about shocks at this World Cup, it's what Germany didn't do. It's what Argentina didn't do. They've got the second goal.
Yeah, and you're just looking at the replay. It comes so quick from Asensio. Keylor Navas, you're thinking, well, can he do a bit better? Guts his hand to it, but it just, the speed of it. Your head will be turning with the ball. You're not sure where that run's going to come in, when it's going to be met, and it's such a clean, crisp finish off the instep of Asensio. It's past it before he can get any power into the dive. It's difficult for Navas. It's going to be even more difficult for Costa Rica now.
Yeah, real mountain to climb for the side that got out of the toughest group at the World Cup back in 2014. 5 of those players were involved in that campaign, but they're trailing by 2-0, and they didn't have to come from 2 goals down in any of those games. As Gavi comes forward, Spain really with a bit between their teeth now. Here is Ferran Torres, plays it in, it's blocked behind off Oviedo. It's a Spain corner, it is all Spain.
They're flowing, they really are flowing. Pat touched on it before the game. He's saying, look, we see the form of Costa Rica. We know they've won games. We just don't know how good they are because they've not played teams of the quality of Spain. Looking at it now, you're thinking this could be a struggle for a World Cup.
So corner to Spain over on the far side, leading by 2-0, and utterly dominant here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. They have a little arc, a red arc of players, Spain, if they want to play a short option and then another one to work it to the edge of the
surprise me
D.
if they did. Yeah, they could play it all around the edge of the box and finish with a shot.
We'll just go back to Unai Simon.
Well, you'll put the kiss of death on them now and they'll kick it off.
Let's see. I have a feeling Costa Rica are going to need all the help they can get, even if it's from us. Corner to Spain over on the far side, leading by 2-0. They work from this set piece. It's swung into the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Costa Rica up towards the halfway line. Jordi Alba is there and sends it back up over his shoulder towards the penalty area. It will bounce kindly for Gavi, almost muscled out of it by Contreras, who it's the first time we've mentioned the Costa Rican forward outside his own penalty area, and he's lost it to Asensio, pulls the ball across, blocked behind off Duarte, but it did take a nick back off Asensio, and it will be a goal kick to Costa Rica.
That was brilliant from Gavi because he knew he was going to get hit. He knew, and he's not the biggest in any way, shape or form. So I'll tell you what, I'm up for this. I'll take a blow. Yeah, won the ball, gave his teammate a chance, and it was unfortunate. What Navas did was go quickly for the spare ball, thinking, I'd take all the time I want right now because you've got a long old 65 minutes left here.
Spain in possession way through their own arm, leading by 2-0 from Olmo and Asensio. Out to the left-hand side, they come with Jordi Alba, and now Pedri. Olmo will send it back to Alba, and Pedri once more. Spain will go all the way back into their own half with Laporte. 4 games for you tomorrow on 5 BBC Sounds, including one of the favourites, Brazil. Rick Edwards will be live from Doha from 6 a.m. on 5 Live Breakfast. So on the right-hand side is Gavi, is Busquets, plays it back to Azpilicueta and Rodri. It's just rhythmic, isn't it?
It's wonderful to watch Spain, and yes, Costa Rica are struggling. I played against that wonderful team from Spain just over 10 years ago now, and it's got a similar feel to it. The team in white are stood there looking at each other going, what do we do here? Because we haven't got an answer right now.
2-0 Spain lead. Costa Rica have stolen it though on the halfway line, and it's a good bursting run by Jonathan Bennett of Sunderland. He's well dispossessed, but I tell you what, there he gave the Spain back line a little something to think about there. Good pace, good skill.
Yeah, but that's why Rodri's in the team. That's the role he has at Manchester City. In front of the back four, he just did it as a centre-back there. Sensed the danger, stepped across, really good tackle, and again, so dispiriting because you get that little inkling, you think, oh, there's some space. It's gone.
Spain in possession on the halfway line. He is the youngest debutant Costa Rica, Jefferson Bennett, to make his full debut for Sunderland, but already a real fan favourite there after arriving in the summer, partly because him and his dad get the bus to and from training. Very down-to-earth 18-year-old, and now he's making his World Cup bow. His Costa Rica side, though, are 2-0 down to Spain as Olmo wins a throw over on this near side, just up from the halfway line.
I used to get the bus to training. It was never a fan's favourite, though.
But I was going to say you probably were down to earth, so there you go.
I was under earth. It was on the tube as well.
Very good. Spain coming forward outside the penalty area. Lovely work by Gavi. Very good covering challenge by Tejeda, covering back there. Spain will bring it forward once more. But a little glimpse, as we saw from Jefferson Bennett for Costa Rica, of what Gavi, the 18-year-old, can do for Spain. And he's on the ball again now. Space opens up a little bit ahead of him. So he does a 360 and then plays it out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. Here is Ferran Torres. Gavi once more. Torres hugging that touchline. Plays it back to Azpilicueta. Spain leading by 2-0 here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And Spain play it back into their own half. We've talked about the shocks for Germany and Argentina. How much is when you're in the position of Spain? Think about, are affected by, talk about results like that elsewhere in the tournament.
They'll use that as motivation, and they'll see, put the game to bed early doors.
Here goes Dani Olmo, down to the left hand side of the penalty area. Oh, brilliant skill by Jordi Alba, not once. Now Gavi, Costa Rica cannot get a foot on the ball at the moment as Ferran Torres has it. Nice little back receptive pass by Asensio, scorer of Spain's second, cleared away by Costa Rica, but it's all the way back with Unai Simon.
Party tricks are coming out already. You talk about going about it the right way when you are the favourites, when you're talking about shocks and things like that. You say, when you're the right attitude. Wow, they've done that now. They've been brilliant.
They're in possession, Spain, inside their own half. Do you think they will have talked specifically about the importance of getting the second goal, which Germany and Argentina didn't?
I think just go out and play, and with this team, they'll just keep going because that's the only way they know. Talk about the manager and the messages he sends out and how he wants his team to play. That's what they do, Luis Enrique. That's how he wants them to play.
Here goes Dani Olmo down the left-hand side for Spain. Open the scoring for them. They lead by 2-0 on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Here is Pedri outside the penalty area. Tried the little 1-2. Costa Rica tried one themselves. They haven't done. Very decisive decision, pointing straight to the spot, and Costa Rica have this on their faces. It was a good run by Jordi Alba. He went down. He's been given, and Spain, inside the opening half an hour, have a chance to make it 3-0.
I just got it wrong. Unfortunate. There's pressure there. Looking at Duarte. He's the man who's the culprit of the tackle. It's just horrible. A horrible body shape that he gets himself into, and it's a full attack. Jordi goes down. It was the relentless pressure again. They won the recycling of the ball. They won the they're at 6. Step back.
World Cup 8 years ago. We'll have to try and keep out Ferran Torres. He was Spain's top qualifiers, and he has the chance to make it 3-0. Ferran Torres against Keylor Navas, and it's calmly done by Spain. And Spain are running away with this already. Inside the open hour, it's Spain 3, Costa Rica 0.
Well, that was clinical. They've been clinical, so more pace in a run than a run-up. Less of a hop, but enough just to give him that time to say, which way okay, down you go, I'll go the other way. Thank you very much. 3-0, it's a cruise.
It is indeed. It's plain sailing at the moment for Spain. And I'm sure there will be a smile on the face of Luis Enrique. Yes, for the performance. Yes, for the goals. But as Guillaume Balaguer was telling us before, it's his daughter's boyfriend as well. He's just made it 3-0.
Oh, I wondered why he's on penalties.
Well, he has stuck it in the back of the net. So from a tactical perspective, it makes sense as well. And Spain, very, very comfortable. The opening 31 minutes here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. If you can answer it, you're a cleverer football journalist / former footballer than me. What do Costa Rica do now?
You just sit on education, learn as much as you can from playing against some really, really good players. But what you don't do is go and take an app.
A little bit of pressure from the back pass. Plays the ball straight out of the area. They go all the way back to Callow, who spreads the ball out to the right-hand side, and Joel Campbell touch from the former Arsenal man to bring. He's challenged by Danny Olmo. Campbell stays down. Now, initially the throw was given, but our referee has deemed that it might be a little bit more than a throw there, and Costa Rica have been given a free kick just in from that right-hand touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. They trailed by 3 goals to 0.
Well, it was needless tackle. Danny Olmo, looking at this, by far and away the best chance that Costa Rica have had. Wide up. It's time, it's a possession in the Spain half, and also obviously away from their own goal.
So it will be their vastly experienced Celso Borges to take this free kick from the right-hand side. Swung in, it's poor, it's almost played straight to Joel Campbell by Spain. The offside flag's gone up now. I think Marco Asensio will breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there. In fact, almost straight to Joel Campbell, who had strayed very much offside. Although interesting on that, because if that's a deliberate play of the ball there from Jordi Alba, this can negate an offside, but IFAB have released a load of guidance about what does constitute that. But interesting on that.
Well, it was a clear, deliberate play of the ball. The ball travelled 30 yards. It was never actually onside, but it still came off the Spain player. And we've seen it before. We've seen it in bigger matches than this. We saw the Champions League comes into it. The lesser of the law and how someone interprets it is still front deck, still that inconsistency.
Spain in possession, just inside their own half. I think it was a Mexican wave was trying to go round the stand there. Is it still going? Oh yeah, there it is.
Well, it's code 4. We'll know the result.
We've still got 10 minutes of this half, and then for a Spain corner would have been, but the offside flag's gone up. Just going back to offside, he's Campbell becoming active by putting off Jordi Alba, by being too close to him, by trying to play the ball. I have to say, in that instance, I don't think that was the case, and I think you're right that it was a deliberate play of the ball from Jordi Alba. Anyway, the referee, this is where subjectivity comes into it as the ball goes out of play for a Spain throw on the halfway line.
Well, there's one thing that wasn't subjective about it. It was a really poor free kick, and it's one of the few opportunities that Costa Rica have had to get forward and get from the first free kick that they had, and that, while they're offside, debatable, yes, but still hit the near man. Just the lack of quality. You know you've got to do your best against these guys. You know you've got to play a perfect game. It's been far from it.
They are pressing as a pack, though, now, Costa Rica, which is something that Rob Green wanted them to do. They have back on the halfway line. It won't be latched onto by their forward Contreras. It's cleared out of play for a Spain throw on.
Spain's half. And you're playing in Spain's half, and the pressure is in Spain's half. You're running the risk of getting pushed in, taken in behind, and just. But you know what? You're 3-0 down already. What's there to lose?
Spain in possession in the centre circle. Pedri brings it forward, plays the ball forward, too much on it for Danny Olmo, and it goes out of play for a Costa Rica.
Doesn't stop. Costa Rica doesn't stop. 3-0 traffic. He's there. He's got a huge technical area down in front of us. He's covering every blade of grass on there.
Spain clear the ball midway through the Costa Rica half with Laporte. It's brought away for Costa Rica by Borges. That's a good ball out to the left-hand side, and Jerison Bennett will cut in the Sunderland teenager. Cleared away by, well, marshalled, but again, Bennett just looking lively. Looking like an outlet for Costa Rica if they can get him on that left-hand side with Calvo. Good little spell this for Costa Rica, but we put it in the context of Spain leading by 3 goals to 0. As Costa Rica come over the halfway line. Forward to Joel Campbell, and now down the right-hand side. First time he's really been able to get involved in the play in an attacking sense, playing on the right wing, can also been further back, and further back is where the white shirts have been for most of this match, but they're coming down the left-hand side now. Forward back in field to Bennett, who's off on another run. Lovely little skip to take him down to the byline. Puts the ball across as well. Contreras away out of the penalty area. Ball played back in. Powerful header by Laporte. And Costa Rica will pick it up on this near side with Fuller. Plays it back to Joel Campbell. Good spell this for Costa Rica. Again, they have the overload on the left-hand side. Pull the ball back into the penalty area. Rodri with the header on the stretch. Gavi very, very calmly plays a bit of head tennis. Head 1-2 there, that was with Busquets. So he's been fouled, Gavi. That was brilliant from the other three. Head there from Brian Oviedo of Costa Rica.
He managed to get through the press on his own. Three of them played around them, but better from Costa Rica. A bit of concern. Them a little bit more confident on the ball, a little bit more confident off it. Just need to do that until half time and see themselves through.
And it is 6.5 minutes plus added time to play at the end of this first half. Spain leading by 3-0. Olmo, Asensio, Torres from the penalty spot. Costa Rica, though, enjoying their best spell of the game, but it's come, as Rob Green says, when the pressure is off and you feel, surely, that the game is already lost. I know we've had shocks in this World Cup, but I'll tell you what, Saudi Arabia and Japan would have to take a back seat if Costa Rica were to get anything from here. But we're still being treated to some lovely Spain football. Bennett of Sunderland for Costa Rica. Spain in possession, though, on the right-hand side. Back to Gavi in field to Busquets, who will play the pass out to the right and Azpilicueta. Here is Ferran Torres. Back to Gavi once more. Busquets is just drifting forward in that central position as the crowds raise the noise inside the stadium here. Spain leading by 3. Pedri out to the left-hand side, and now Jordi Alba in front of Luis Enrique, who is standing edge of his technical area, watching his Spain side work it out down the right-hand side, ball into the area. Torres was in there. Costa Rica flashes across the 6-yard box, picked up by Jordi Alba. It's getting to another period of the game. Costa Rica just can't clear their lines at the moment. They have it once more. Here is Asensio. Busquets now. In space, 35 yards out. Trying to play the ball. Here they go. And once more, Costa Rica midway through the Spain half, but they opt to go all the way back to the halfway line. For Spain's third. Out to the left-hand side. Spain wants an offside. Not given. Eventually, the flag does go up as Costa Rica play the ball into the penalty area. And it's a free kick to Spain.
The way it's actually, if it's going to lead to a goal scoring opportunity, he was 40 yards out. He was 5 yards offside. He didn't have the ball, but he knew closing down his understanding and awareness of air everywhere was the only place that is shut. That takes some doing.
And he's in possession in the centre circle. Spain leading by 3-0 on 5 Live. BBC Sounds. A reminder that you can download analysis from BBC Sounds. And if you're interested in listening to more about the wider issues around the World Cup in Qatar, we've got a special episode of the Sports Desk for you as well, which looks at all of that. Spain from the right-hand side, back in field to Asensio as an option to play the ball in field to Pedri, but will interchange passes inside. It says Spain knocked around once more. Leading by 3-0 out to the left side, and Jordi Alba Now we feel to Pedri, nice little 1-2 attempted between Olmo and Busquets, and Asensio will drive, well blocked by Borges up towards the halfway line. But those little 1-2s, it's clearly something that, well, we've seen them do it so many times, Spain, but it's come out quite a lot in this first half.
Yeah, what they do really well is find an area of space where 3 or 4 of them can congregate. Find that there is 2, 3, 4 of them. They can do their little passes, do their little interchanges.
Rodri in possession for Spain. Plays it out to the right-hand side, and as Piliqueta, only Laporte and Simon are inside the Spain half as Spain do want to go all the way back. Spectator. And that tells you all you need to know. Spain come forward, Gavi line. Spain it up with Busquets, and now as Piliqueta out to the right-hand side, Ferran Torres is fouled, and it will be a Spain free kick. He is hauled to his feet. Spain have the set piece, and they take 9 at the back, but Spain just pushing, just probing, just so comfortable. Share of possession.
Well, they conceded in the 11th. That's some achievement. They've not conceded in the 41st. They've nearly made it to half-time.
To get this 4th goal, as BBC sounds, Juliana flagged offside, and there was Enrique down there applauding, pointing, always involved, as Rob Green says. His contract is up with Spain at the end of the year, incidentally. He won't sign a new one until after the World Cup, because if things go wrong, you, and by that he means the media, won't have to ask me to be fired.
Well, he's a fitness fanatic, isn't he? And it's a good job, really, because the amount of energy he expends on the touchline is incredible.
Spain collect the ball outside their own penalty area. Did you see that? We just almost got taken out by a pigeon. There it is. Oh, off it goes again. Right to left. That was a close one. Keep an eye on it, Rob, as Spain play the ball away from their own penalty area. Navas has come a long way out of his penalty area to collect it, but does so calmly under little pressure. And he'll clear the ball eventually up towards halfway. Now we'll pick it up first, and he's doing what you said he should do at 2-0. He's doing it at 3-0. He's just taking his time as we're into added time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, just heard that there was 5 minutes added time, which, I mean, other than the goal celebrations, there's not been a stoppage there.
Whistle's already gone. Joel Campbell does go from range for Costa Rica, and it bounces on the roof of the net anyway. Well, it's something they are looking at this World Cup. Basically, any stoppage, that they're being very precise about how they measure it. So we've had a penalty award, we've had 2 other goals, but as you say, and also because Spain are so proficient in possession, the ball's been in play the vast majority of the time, other than when we've said they're doing really well and they kick it straight out. They've done it again. Yes, they it's 3 out of 3.
Well, you scored 3. Costa Rica haven't, but it's. I'll be interested to see how many passes that Spain have put in this first half, because it is. Yes, they've been allowed to do it, but it has been a huge amount of possession, and it's been so comfortable. They've just bopped it around at will, really.
Costa Rica trying to build down the left-hand side with Bennett once again. Again, he's putting on a little bit of pressure. The ball is all the way back to Simon, and Spain will work it out with Rodri coming out of that penalty area. Off to Busquets now. His ball just ahead of Pedri, but will roll to Olmo as the ball is played back to Busquets in the centre circle. Reminder, coverage of every match from the World Cup on 5 Live and BBC Sounds across the tournaments, including one more this evening, Belgium against Canada, 7 o'clock with John Murray and Dion Dublin. Here, Spain comfortable, very much so. Leading by 3 goals to 0. Here is Laporte, picks it up midway through the Spain half and interchanges with Busquets, and now Rodri will play the ball through to Gavi, driving towards the penalty area. Asensio just stopped his run, so the ball is ahead of him into the box and cleared away at the back by Fuller, out for a Spain throw.
You don't realise how good your teammate is. That's when that happens, is that you see the space, you go and you think, oh, he's never going to make it, that pass in there. And you realise, actually, he's really, really good. He can make that pass, and he did, and I should have carried that run on.
So Spain in possession on the halfway line. Costa Rica have switched to this back five for now. So Fuller has dropped back into that right back position. He's stepping up now. It's one of those that they can switch when they get into possession, but they're just seeing so few of it at the moment. So a little tactical tweak there from Luis Fernando Suarez, because they're just trying to stop sweeping, flowing Spain moves forward. Spain, who had 2 minutes of added time to play at the end of this first half, lead by 3-0.
Yeah, we thought it might be the case before the game. Pat touched on it, and you were just wondering, because they do effectively have two right backs in the side, and it does allow them to do that. But what it does do is just have a man less in midfield, and so it makes it that bit easier for Spain.
Now, referee stopped play here. It will be a free kick to Spain.
It hit him, and he almost didn't stop, which he has to do. Another directive that's come in over recent years, and it wasn't until Asensio looked at him and said, "What are you doing?" "Oh yeah, sorry."
Maybe he's checked out before half time as well.
Should put 5 minutes up.
To be fair, that's the fourth official. Pedri in possession. Spain leading by 3-0. As Rodri picks it up in the centre circle. A lovely track back from Busquets to find Pedri as Spain suddenly accelerate through the gears, looking for this fourth goal. Into the penalty area goes Asensio. Great sliding, covering challenge at the back from Duarte. And the block was enough to put off Asensio, and it's behind for the Costa Rica goal kick.
Yeah, enough to put him off, and did enough to also not give away the corner, because the ball was travelling at such an angle for Asensio, but it was his dropping that played Asensio onside. Again, it's just slickness of the passing, the ease of the passing, the ease of this first half.
And it has been very easy for Spain. Simon, who gathers the ball, has had very, very little to do. As Rob Green says, he's touched the ball with his hands now, but just to roll it out.
Yep, 50 minutes in, and yeah, he'll be pleased for the touch, shall we say.
And there is the half-time whistle, a half that has gone very, very well for Spain. They've seen Germany falter. They've seen Argentina falter in their openers at this World Cup. But from here, Spain do not look like faltering. 3-0, they lead Costa Rica. And Rob Green, it's been as dominant as a performance as Luis Enrique could wish for.
Yeah, there was a number of question marks at the start of the game as how Barcelona were going to play, how Spain were going to play in terms of being able to break down Costa Rica. And it has been the Barcelona players, it has been Busquets, it has been Pedri and Gavi that have shone, Alba on the left. And you're looking at guys, the pleasure that they're playing with each other and the understanding that they have with each other, that going through, cutting through this Costa Rica team has been at ease.
It's been really entertaining to watch from a Spain perspective, but Kelly, I'm sorry, I don't think we're going to have a shock here. Very nice stuff from Spain, though. It's worth watching. Indeed.
But it is good to hear about that fantastic Spain performance, and to have a competition in which Spain are on the kind of form that we're looking at just now is going to be very exciting. Spain then, as Vicky was saying, 3-0 up against Costa Rica at half-time. For now, thank you very much to Vicky Sparks and to Rob Green. We'll be back at the Al-Thumama Stadium for the second half of that one. We'll also be with a jubilant Japan after their shock 2-1 win over Germany earlier. We'll check in with Dion Dublin as well. He's one half of our commentary team for the fourth game of the day. That's back to Group F, and that is Belgium against Canada. Earlier on in that same group, it finished Morocco 0, Croatia 0. So we'll look ahead to the rest of the games.
Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Nicola Sturgeon says the next general election will be a de facto referendum on Scottish independence. She's launched a legal case to try to force another vote without consent of the Westminster government, which so far it's refused. The former Supreme Court Justice Lord Sumption says the result was never in doubt.
The Scottish Parliament cannot deal with reserved matters, and those include matters relating to the Union of England and Scotland. It seems perfectly obvious that an act of the Scottish Parliament authorising a referendum on independence would relate to the Union of England and Scotland. It would extinguish it.
A senior barrister called Adam Tolley is going to lead an investigation into bullying complaints made against Dominic Raab. He specialises in commercial and employment law. The Deputy Prime Minister denies any wrongdoing. The Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has admitted the government has failed to control the UK's borders. She's told MPs the blame lies with people smugglers, but says the Home Office needs to improve its efficiency. Russia has launched another wave of missile strikes across Ukraine. At least 3 people were killed in the capital, Kyiv, and power supplies have been disrupted across the country and also in neighbouring Moldova. Police are investigating homophobic hate mail sent to the former rugby referee. He came out as gay in 2007 and thinks the letters could have happened due to the World Cup. Former Wales international Gareth Thomas has also received homophobic messages. A British Paralympic sprinter has been selected to take part in astronaut training by the European Space Agency. John McFall could become the first disabled person in space. He'll work with engineers as part of a feasibility study to see what needs to be adapted and redesigned. Andrew Koo is from the UK Space Agency.
Astronauts are the most visible part of what we do in the space industry. They're just one part of it, but they're the part that really excites the public's imagination. So showing that the space industry is welcoming of people from all backgrounds is a really important message to send.
And Waitrose has changed part of its Christmas advert after a backlash from skin cancer patients. The original one featured 2 farmers comparing their suntans. Travel now, here's Ellie Brennan.
In the latest travel news, in Greater Manchester on the M60 anti-clockwise, the exit slip road to the M62 westbound is partially blocked at junction 12. That's because of emergency repairs. Congestion is back to the Swinton interchange. The M48-7 bridge has been closed in both directions because of strong winds this afternoon. Expect delays there, particularly on the M4 Prince of Wales bridge, where you will be diverted. In Oxfordshire on the M40 northbound, 2 lanes are closed after junction 11 for Banbury. That's because of emergency bridge repairs. Congestion is back to Brackley at junction 10. And in London on the A406 North Circular northbound, there's 2 lanes closed at Coney Hatch interchange. That's because of an accident earlier and subsequent repair work. Congestion is back to Finchley. Ellie Brennan, 5 Live Travel.
It's 50 years since England and Scotland's first ever official Women's International.
We were just girls playing football, but we didn't realise we were making history.
I'm Anita Asante. In my new podcast series, I'm going to learn more about the women who played that day in 1972.
I went past one person and shot, and at least gave us a chance. We were 2-2 then.
And how it led to a brighter future for the Scottish game and onto England's Euro 2022 glory.
I feel so lucky listening to those stories. Attitudes like that are what has taken the game to how it is today.
My Moment in History, kicking off the women's game on BBC Sounds.
BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Kelly Capes.
Albert whips it in, a little bit of space for Olmo. Will dink through again, looking for Olmo, brings it down brilliantly. 1-0 Spain. It's a lovely goal from Dani Olmo. Finding space on the left-hand side now. Jordi Alba whips the ball in. Oh, that's a brilliant goal. It's met fabulously by Asensio. First time, brilliant ball from Alba. Brilliant finish from Asensio. Spain lead Costa Rica 2-0. The penalty's been given, and Spain, inside the opening half an hour, have a chance to make it 3-0. Ferran Torres against Keylor Navas. And it's calmly done by Torres. It's rolled into the net. Navas went the wrong way. And Spain are running away with this already.
They are 3-0 up at half-time against Costa Rica. We'll be back to the Al-Thumama Stadium for the second half of that one with Vicky Sparks and Rob Green very shortly. Then at 7 o'clock, it's Belgium against Canada. Full commentary of that, as there is of every single game throughout this World Cup. And as we heard earlier, a huge story as Japan came from 1-0 down to beat Germany 2-1. The winning goal scored by Takuma Asano.
Lovely touch by Asano, into the penalty area. Asano! What a finish! Oh my word! What a sting in the tail! But what a touch! High ball downfield. Asano killed it dead right footed, and then rifled the ball past Neuer.
It's a dream come true. Yes, we could do it. We had a dream like this today, but we just couldn't do it.
Did you watch Argentina yesterday? It's similar for you?
Yes, we watched that game. Then we thought we can do it. Then we just did it today. Only that.
They thought they could do it, and they did. Takuma Asano there speaking after his goal, which saw Japan beat Germany by 2-1. I'm not sure anyone enjoyed it more than Chris Sutton as the co-commentator in that game. Maybe a football journalist, Dan Allivett, who covers Japanese football and joins us now from Tokyo. Dan, what an unexpected result by everyone except Chris Sutton, who said that he predicted it. but I'm not sure everybody else was quite as sanguine.
You know what? I don't think that any of us, given the expectations we had for this Japan side heading into this game, would have expected to one win. And I say that knowing how much potential this squad has, this is an incredible result. Probably the biggest in the history of Japanese football. This is incredible. That I'm running out of words, and that maybe because it's 2 a.m. here. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's a lot of people not sleeping at the moment. The excitement of that result is so huge, and we saw the celebrations of the squad, the players, the backroom staff. Everybody was on the pitch after the game, in a huddle on the touchline, celebrating that result. What's the reaction been like in Tokyo and across Japan?
Fans here in Tokyo are jubilant. The famous Scramble Crossing in Shibuya, that is sort of where fans who have been watching games at bars congregate after World Cup games, and it's been packed immediately after around midnight when the last trains have basically already left the station. You see just thousands of them celebrating in the crossing, of course, when there's a red light and they're allowed to cross. I think people are stunned. You looked at the first half and how tight it was, and you weren't quite sure. You figured, maybe Japan can fight back and get the draw. But again, you look at what Saudi Arabia did to Argentina yesterday, and you start thinking, well, maybe it is possible, even against Germany. The Germany that outpassed Japan up and down the pitch, and then they went and did it.
As you said, there is a very technically gifted Japan side that hasn't quite reached the heights that it potentially could. Does this mark a turning point for this Japan squad?
I think that this game gives Japan confidence, and that's one thing that they really needed. We saw very hesitant Japan in the first half, and then Yasu made the changes that he did, and that really turned the game around. And I think now you realize, well, if you can play like this for 45 minutes, you can play like this for 90 minutes, and you can't just play this for 90 minutes. Costa Rica, but you can play those 90 minutes against Spain, and then quite possibly that they can beat the world's best. Will take them as far as they want to go in this tournament.
It was so exciting watching them. As you said, there's been so much excitement in Japan, and now there will be a degree, maybe not of expectation, but certainly of renewed hope. We saw after Saudi Arabia got their fantastic win against Argentina, there was a national holiday. I can't imagine any plans like that on the cards. It's not quite that big an upset, is it?
The funny thing is that today, Wednesday, was actually a national holiday. It was Labor Thanksgiving. So people had to relax today and enjoy the game however they did, but I'm sure there will be a lot of bleary eyes and coffee consumption at work in the morning. It's going to be a tough one for a lot of fans here. The game finished at midnight, but if there was any question of how excited the Japanese public is for this World Cup, it has been answered. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere, an amazing buzz in this country for the last two group stage games.
Dan, thanks so much for staying up to the early hours of the morning to talk to us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much to Dan Olbert there, who covers Japanese football in Tokyo, reflecting on that fantastic result for Japan earlier on. Germany, of course, on the receiving end of that defeat earlier this afternoon. Here's Ilkay Gundogan's reaction.
We have no other choice, to be honest, than try to be confident, and play on the best possible level, because unfortunately, because of the result today, that's already our first final. So every game now is going to be a final. I think it could have been better if we would have won today, obviously. The pressure would be that high. That result today, we have to win it. I think in general, with the performance, we know there's maybe still a lack, of certain things. But when you look on paper, I think we were quite dominant, and at the end of the day, we had the chances, we had the chances to score earlier, the second one, even the third one, to be honest, where the keeper was also doing well. We hit the post, or I think the crossbar once, and I hit the post. So yeah, I don't think we played that bad, to be honest.
That was Ilkay Gundogan, and German football journalist Marie Schulte-Bochum is with us now. Maria, I don't think anybody saw that coming. They certainly didn't see it coming after about an hour of that game.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it was very much an unbalanced game. By the final whistle, Germany had 9 shots on target, but the only goal that they did score was a penalty kick. So, as Ilkay Gundogan said in his answer, it's also a tale of missed opportunities.
Because of that, because of the chances that Germany created, because of the chances that they missed, how much of a reaction has there been to that defeat? Is it seen as something that is just one of those things that happens in football, or are there questions being asked about this Germany squad?
I would say Germany is a very proud footballing nation where all the fans and the public and even the players themselves very much expected to win this game against Japan. So the reception to this result is very bad. People are unhappy. People are being criticized, and for once, I guess the focus is now on sport and the lack of a performance, because in the last few days, ever since Monday, where it was announced that Germany wouldn't be wearing the One Love armband, that Captain Manuel Neuer would not be wearing that. That has been the focus of the discussion in Germany. It's all been about human rights. You had German supermarkets chain Rewe, which is equivalent to maybe a Sainsbury's or Waitrose or Tesco's that size. They're one of the key sponsors of the German national team. They pulled out as a reaction to Germany kind of giving into FIFA. And then, of course, we had that moment before the game where, for the official team photo, the German players covered their mouths as if they had been silenced. So the storyline up to now has been very much off the pitch, but now with this result, I expect the public and the media in Germany to focus a lot more on the downside of the performance on the pitch as well.
Marie, thank you very much for joining us. Marie Schulte-Bochum there to reflect on Germany's defeat by Japan. We will be back to the Al-Thumama Stadium very shortly, where the second half is just about to get underway. Rob Green and Vicky Sparks will take us through that very quickly, though. Dion Dublin is going to be working on Belgium against Canada. You'll be bringing us every kick of the ball in that one from 7 o'clock. Dion, what are you expecting?
Energy from Canada, energy. Very young manager, but they've got some exciting players. All about Alphonso Davies is a key player for them. If they can keep him quiet, then I'm imagining this. If they get it right, it could be an easy night. Belgium, they've got so many good players. We know how strong their squad is, so they have to stay in the game. Canada, and they might surprise a few people with their energy levels, but the quality is all in that Belgian dressing room.
We've already had shocks so far in this World Cup. Dion, thank you very much for joining us. Belgium-Canada is live on BBC later, and that means you can watch all the match build-up via the iPlayer with 5 Live's coverage on the top of it. It includes all the players arriving, and then it covers the warm-up on the pitch and the stadium as it fills up right up until kick-off. You can then watch the match without commentary if you like. Just search for World Cup Extra on BBC iPlayer. Rachel Burden, if you're listening, I heard on breakfast she's having a few technical difficulties in managing that. Search for World Cup Extra on BBC iPlayer and tune in for Rick and Rachel first in the morning from 6 o'clock. Now, though, with Spain 3-0 up against Costa Rica, the second half underway at the Al-Thumama Stadium. It's Rob Green and Vicky Sparks.
Thanks, Kelly. Yes, 90 seconds played. Spain leading Costa Rica by 3-0, and Costa Rica have made a change at half-time in the back line. Kendall Waston is on, and Carlos Martinez has starting this second half with the back 4. They did end with a back 5, having started the match with the back 4. So interesting to see how that develops. But Spain in possession, leading by 3-0, and the message from Luis Enrique, Rob Green, would be what coming out into this second half?
Enjoy yourselves. More of the same. Played with absolute joy in that first half. So much confidence against a side who let you play how you want to play. If you asked him, how would you like Costa Rica to turn up, and what shape would you like them to play? They pretty much did it for them. Hopefully, for their sakes, they'll put a different shape out, different formation, different performance.
Spain opening in the same performance. Asensio from the edge of the box, just over the bar. Azpilicueta it was coming in from the right-hand side. Fed Asensio on the edge of the D. He's already scored once this evening. It's over the bar and into those Costa Rica fans away to our right.
Yeah, it's a 4-2-3-1 that Costa Rica has set up in the second half defensively, but that just creates space in front of the fullbacks. And Cesar Azpilicueta, my teammate in Chelsea, he's a clever guy. He'll work that out pretty quick, and he walked straight to that space, drove inside, and it's actually a wasteful opportunity street from Asensio. You're expecting him on his favoured left foot to hit the target at least.
So Costa Rica in possession. Well, they were. They just lost it with Joel Campbell all in white. They won it back with Francisco Calvo. Spain all in red, playing from left to right as Joel Campbell picks it up for Costa Rica. Down the left-hand side goes Oviedo. Pulls it in. A little bit of space for Jewison Bennett from Sunderland. Cleared away from him, though. And Busquets will play it forward, looking for Asensio over the halfway line. He goes. Spain leading by 3-0. Here is Pedri outside the penalty area. Beats Dani Olmo, left-hand side of the box. Plays it forward. Navas is there and gathers easily just on the edge of that 6-yard box.
Yeah, they pick up the space so well on the break, on that counter-attack. And this Spain side looks so threatening against Costa Rica. What I would say is they haven't got any real blistering pace in the Spain team. And you're thinking in games in the future, and you get against teams where they may need to break at pace. They may not get the luxury of all the ball that they've got in this first half at least. You're saying, okay, look at England, how they ran back, how they tracked back, how physical they were in closing down Iran. When you come up against the likes of the guys who can do that, I wonder where they're going to come from and get that space, get that counter-attack going.
5 minutes gone in this second half. Spain in possession on the halfway line with Pedri. Forward to Asensio out to the left-hand side. They go once more and Dani Olmo will pick it up. And now Pedri once more. Switches the play to Azpilicueta on the halfway line. And now back to Rodri. Forward to Busquets. Won't keep it in. And Oviedo, the scream of frustration because he was coming up trying to start the Costa Rica counter-attack down the left-hand side. But had he let it, it would have just gone out for a Costa Rica throw. Instead, he got a push on it, couldn't control it, and it's a throw to Spain, which Azpilicueta will take.
He was eyes bigger than his belly there. He could see the space in front of him, and he knew that if he got the touch right, but the chances were, because he was on the stretch, he just couldn't get it right. Wasted possession.
So Spain in possession inside their own half, with Simon goal, the back four of Azpilicueta, Rodri filling in at centre half today. Back line, Gavi, Busquets, and Pedri front, and it is that front three that have all netted off with Laporte. An interesting role that Duarte's taking up here, sometimes coming into midfield, then into the back line as Spain come forward, and Gavi has it on the right-hand side. Here is Ferran Torres, the ball across, it's cleared away at the back by Fuller, and out for a Spain throw.
You know, what they've done is they have put 5 at the back, but one of them is going into midfield, whoever it may be, and they continue this swapping and changing to go into the midfield, and Spain haven't worked it out yet, but all they need to do is one of them pull out, one of them make the run in behind where the space is, and they'll be in. It's strength in numbers by Costa Rica, but it's still going to leave space in behind them.
Ball into the way by Oviedo. He's under pressure though, and under that pressure runs it straight out for the corner, and that's well played by Pedri. It's a mistake from the experienced Brian Oviedo, and it's a corner to Spain.
Yeah, we saw from one of the goals in the first half from the penalties given away by just a relentless pressure, and that's just as confidence they have from the back line. The likes of Rodri just stood there going, go boys, go press. I got to take care of this.
Corner played short by Spain. They work it out to this right-hand side, and Dani Olmo with Asensio on 2. Olmo will find it down by the bar line, pulls the ball across, cleared away from inside the Costa Rican penalty area, and out up towards halfway with Keisha Fuller. Won't Joel Campbell though, and now it's opening up for Spain down this right-hand side as Piliqueta won't find Torres, does find Pedri. Olmo runs into Calvo. Spain have it back with Jordi Alba as Costa Rica gets into their back line. They have Navas in goal. The back four now, slightly reshuffled. So Fuller's gone over to right back. Duarte at the moment has dropped into that centre half position as Duarte makes the interception. Calvo and Oviedo make up the current back line, although Waston, who's come in, is now dropping back into that back line as well. So they are switching, aren't they? Because Duarte is sometimes stepping up into midfield to make it a 4, and now it's Waston stepping up from 3 to make it a 4. It's pressure that is being employed by the two centre-halves of Costa Rica, Duarte and Waston. Ahead of them, you have Tejeda and Borges in the midfield. Over on the far side now is Contreras. Jason Bennett over on this left-hand side, and Joel Campbell has gone up through the centre.
It's interesting tactic, interesting ploy from Costa Rica.
Gavi coming down the right-hand side for Spain. Lovely control by Ferran Torres. He then ran into Cabo. Still has it. Ferran Torres slides it underneath Navas. He has his second of the game. Spain have their ball.
So easy.
Spain's got it! Yeah!
Ferran Torres gets it wrong initially in the
Ferran Torres! Yeah, goal!
Vamos!
Goal!
Vamos!
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 To pick the ball up again. And then it's just too late.
It's scoring!
Got enough of the goal to hit. Keylor Navas can't get back. It's a mess.
Ferran Torres.
The problem with strength in numbers is too many cooks. One of you's got to take control of the situation. They're trying to go man to
What
man.
a goal!
But the movement of Spain is such that they don't know who's going to go for the man that's in space. Therefore,
Spain.
after you, they're all just waiting, all just backing off. Slots it home from 6 yards unchallenged, and unfortunately for them, it's more of the same.
Subscribe the channel, please.
More of the same for Spain. That will certainly make them smart, but as Rob says, more of the same for Costa Rica
Follow me.
as well. In Costa Rica
Follow
it
me,
is
please.
who get us underway. Ferran Torres with his seconds of the game.
Yeah,
Spain
this
have
is
4,
La Roja.
and they are
Yeah.
not, we can say with confidence, going to
Spain,
go the way
Costa
of
Rica.
Argentina.
The best,
They are not going to go the way of Germany in their opening match
The
of
best
this World
team
Cup.
in fucking world.
Mauro Morata, stripped and ready to come on, and he's a guy who
Yeah, it's
thrives
La Roja.
on confidence and thrives on goals. And
Is it
35
Brooklyn?
minutes to
يفهموا.
pack
Yeah,
some
La
goals here
Roja.
and get his confidence going and get himself into the tournament.
Olmo, Ferran
Changes are
Torres
being
to
rung, he's not on his own.
Marco Asensio.
Yeah, and why not from Luis Enrique's point of view?
Scoring.
4-0, Spain lead Costa Rica, and we still, as Rob says, have 35 minutes to play here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Belgium against Canada coming up at 7 o'clock, but Spain aren't done here. Dani Olmo 1-2 inside the penalty area, twisting one way, then the other. Ball will come across to Ferran Torres. Oviedo
Keylor
goes over the
Navas.
header, is behind for a Spain
4
corner.
points.
Well, you're at the point now where you, as a professional, you're saying, Costa Rica, you're saying, right, professional pride, we don't want to lose by more than 5. We don't want to lose by more than 6. Let's just keep it down, because it just hurts. From now on in, it's just a number that's going to look really, really bad.
So here is the first change, and Ferran Torres will not be getting a hat-trick. He is coming off, and Morata
He's
coming on.
Hat-trick.
Pedri, another of those being replaced. T will make way for Carlos Soler.
I speak English. I can speak English. Ferran Torres scoring.
To come on and perhaps make an immediate impact from this by Asensio, cleared away by Navas, comes out to Jordi Alba, out to the left-hand side, and Rodri will lift it in, and it's by Waston for another Spain corner.
Yet to see the shape of Spain, because it's just been at one corner left to another, and I'd imagine Morata to go up front, Asensio to come out onto this right-hand side. The problems don't change for Costa Rica. What you would say is that Pedri and Torres have proved the point for the game, proved how important they are to the team, and can rest up and get ready for the next one.
Yeah, very much so. Spain, Dani Olmo and Asensio between them decide to take the corner short, and Costa Rica only had one player there defending. It was Jason Bennett, but they do manage to marshal Spain back towards the halfway line, and then a missed control from Asensio will give Bennett Costa Rica a throw. Spain 4, Costa Rica 0.
Not criticising them too often in this game, Spain, but that was a bit curious because they played the short corner and then realised that they were offside. No one was on the line for Costa Rica.
Well, that's it, isn't it? It was a 2-on-1 if they got it right, but they didn't.
Therein lies the detail.
Indeed. So Spain in possession, just outside their own penalty area. We have already had another mighty shock of the World Cup today. You're just joining us. Japan coming from behind to beat Germany by 2-1. Morocco 0-0 with Croatia ahead and building against Canada to come on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 13.5 minutes gone in this second half. Spain 4, Costa Rica 0, and Simon again just employing that tactic that we touched on earlier in the first half. It's something that Luis Enrique liked the entire team to do. Very explicitly, he said he wants Simon to do it as well. Just draw the opponents in. Although Simon decides to go safety first up to the halfway line there, but that's the approach, isn't it? If there's an opponent closing me down, yes, as a goalkeeper, it looks risky. But if everybody does their jobs, it leaves somebody else unmarked.
You will always have a pass. The other team have a goalkeeper, and the opposition's goalkeeper will not be pressing. He won't be marking. So you are the spare man. If you can do it, and you get it right, and you back yourself to do it, then it works.
Spain in possession, just outside their own penalty area. Here is Busquets, spreads the play out to Azpilicueta. Costa Rica are preparing a double change as well as Asensio plays it forward.
Come on,
a feel of offside against Morata. Flag stays down for now. Morata right hand side of the penalty area tries to pull the ball across. Waston gets it in. A little
what do you say about this?
Keep it in as Waston blocked it away.
This match.
Cleared away eventually by Costa Rica. Lovely improvisation by Dani Almo. The flag hasn't gone up yet, so that might well been onside for Morata.
You are live with Bilal channel.
Yeah, you can speak. Skill from Almo.
Yeah, it's great improvisation. And well, I think he timed that really well, Alvaro Morata. I think he just second-guessed himself as he was going through, and the ball was in there to play, to slide it across the goal. He just didn't take that opportunity. Maybe 10 minutes' time, a little bit sharper, he would have done.
So Spain with the ball just outside their own penalty area. Spain, who are heading for just their 3rd victory in their last 8 World Cups. After winning the 2010 edition, the first in their history, and they're coming forward again. Gavi goes down and will win a free kick just inside the Costa Rica half.
If he doesn't get booked here, that was almost just a slap on the side of the head from Calvo. He had one challenge in the first half that should have been a booking. That he was beaten, and he was away there, and Gavi was gone. He should be off.
But he's not. He is reprieved, and Costa Rica will make a double change. Alvaro Zamora, one of their youngsters in the squad, just 20 years of age, never actually played in the qualifiers, comes on his first World Cup, and a special moment for Brian Ruiz as well, as Olmo drives from distance over the bar for Spain. The former Fulham man, Costa Rican legend, will retire after this World Cup, becomes the oldest Costa Rican player at a World Cup. He's off the bench, 37 years trailing by 4-0. But what a servant he has been to this Costa Rican national side.
England's nemesis, one of those World Cups.
Indeed.
Certain manager was not best pleased with him. His former Fulham manager, Roy Hodgson, up at 37 with 29 minutes to go.
Impact.
Plan. Go on and change the game for us.
Easy peasy. 4-0 down to Spain. See what you can do. But we have seen a bit of playing up at times from Costa Rica, particularly after the 3rd goal went in. And that's all they can do, isn't it? Like you said, Rob Green at that point, just go out, just learn from it, try to keep it now to 4.
Yeah, I think you're looking at playing against some of the great European players in this side, and players of masters of finding space and how to solve problems on the pitch, and using your intuition and your understanding of football. And they're always thinking, they're always understanding ways to change the game.
And they're coming forward now. Morata inside the penalty area, took the shot early, past that near post, which Navas had covered.
Yeah, it was a good run, good ball to his former Chelsea teammate Alvaro Morata from Azpilicueta. The angle was never there.
It's a double change being made for Spain. Busquets, one of the players coming off, as is Jordi Alba, and on will come Koke. And what a moment this is for Alejandro Valde. He was a late call-up after Jose Gaia, who had been named in the squad, injured his ankle in training. He makes his Spain debut at a World Cup. It was his first senior call-up. He's impressed for Barcelona this season, the youngster, but yes, they're 4-0 up. Yes, this game is won, but that is still a choice from Luis Enrique to say, look, 3 days ago, you didn't even think you'd be here. You'd be here, but then a late injury, and you get your opportunity in a match we've already won. But this is what I'm going to do. And it's just typical, isn't it, of how he manages the young players at his disposal.
Well, as Guillaume was saying before the game, it's more of a club mentality, and we're going to bed people for the future and put people in for the future. And he is one for the future. He is a talent. And tell you what, Costa Rica, having a look, been up against Alba all that time, who was fantastic for the time that he was on. We'll be grateful for Valde coming on. He's sharp, he's direct, he's quick, he wants to get forward, he wants to run at people. He's got tiring legs and tiring minds. You don't need that.
Yeah, just 19 years of age, as Azpilicueta has it just outside his own penalty area too. And Brian Oviedo winning the throw as well. But yes, as you say, real breakthrough season at club level, starting regularly for Barcelona and on for a taste of World Cup action on his Spain debut. Huge moment for the teenager. Spain leading by 4-0. 20 minutes played in the second half here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. A reminder, you can listen to all the latest debates and analysis and reaction from the World Cup on the World Cup Daily podcast. Just download that from BBC Sounds every day, all throughout the tournament. And here goes Valde, racing down the left-hand side, lays it off to Dani Olmo, went for the 1-2. Valde looked as though he didn't quite get there, and the flag in the end does go up. Just didn't keep that in there, but tell you what, he's not come on to settle for 4-0 or shore up the defence. He's bombing down that left-hand side, as he likes to do, the young left-back. And I think we might see a bit more of him in this game.
Yep, he's quick, but he's not as quick as his teammate Dani Olmo thought he was, because that was a full pass for him to chase, and he nearly got there.
21 minutes played, Spain 4, Costa Rica 0. Costa Rica played out from the back. They've been so dominant in this match. What does this tell us? How much does this tell us about how Spain are going to do at this tournament?
You're tempted to say not a lot, really. I mean, the strength of the opposition, and they really just haven't made it difficult. You're thinking, yes, technically we're not as good as Spain. We're organised, or we can get organised, we can make it difficult. They just haven't. They've made it a walk in the park for them. Realistically, you look at just.
جبنا لك قناة الشيخ. جبنا لك قناة. طورها محتوى أحلى.
مليح.
الناس حضورها المرات دي يجيبوا مشاهدات البالون. كما في المونديال كنت دير باغ في الملخص أهداف وملخص مباراة السعودية وكذا وكذا. دوك بعد عرفت كان حلمية.
أين فيها كوبي رايت؟
كيفاه؟
أين فيها كوبي رايت؟
وش فيها؟
Times here, studs are up, does get a touch on the ball, but it's dangerous, it's reckless, and in the modern game, it's fractions away from a really serious injury.
I think what saves him there, and Nico Williams, not that one, Spain's Nico Williams is coming on.
Yep, another exciting talent, Sensio, showing it in flashes. today, much like his time in his club. Those moments of brilliance, moments where he frustrates you. Again, another youngster coming on. It's just a wonderful opportunity, not just a wonderful opportunity for them, but really important just to get themselves into a World Cup, because you don't know when you're going to be needed. It could be in a couple of weeks' time. You're not getting the ball in a game.
Here goes Dani Olmo down the left-hand side for Spain. Plays it, patted down expertly by Navas from Olmo with Morata lurking.
There's two players in the box. 4 Costa Rica players in the box. They're not marking either of them.
Zonal marking. Spain in possession on the halfway line. Here is Brian Ruiz. One play he could.
Confidence of the goals. And he's played before. We spoke to him at other tournaments about him. And Chelsea.
On va faire une toute petite pause dans Punchline. On se retrouve dans.
نيكم وين تحصل في روحك وين تثبت الفؤاد
هذيك عليا جيت لها طلع كافر باقي عليا او خارج انا التسوست نخرجوا كامل وخرجين باش
تشيت
ما تعشيتش ما تشاش خارج بلا عشاء لا راه تشاش هو
بلا راك ديال المعارف.
The top scorer of Spain at the Euros, but he's a player that comes in for so much stick. And Luis Enrique, I remember constantly having to defend him through the Euros. Yes, he misses some pretty big chances that he really should put away, but Luis Enrique pointing to his overall record for Spain in terms of numbers. But it's the key ones, the key moments that people remember, isn't it?
Yeah, too. And I think the worst thing that happened to him was that he was the player to replace Diego Costa at Chelsea. It's just not many people are Diego Costa. It was the direct comparisons there that really sort of hit home and it was.
Ruiz è un giocatore.
Era dato anche titolare alla vigilia della partita.
Esatto, era dato titolare, giocatore insomma con trascorsi importanti, PSV, Fulham, di Lisbona, faceva parte tra l'altro del gruppo della nazionale del Costa Rica che nel Brasile del 2014 ottenne l'ultima vittoria in un mondiale al Costa Rica, allora venne sconfitta la Grecia, giocatore di esperienza internazionale che ha deciso probabilmente insomma di risparmiare, forse per persa la partita con la Spagna in occasione di metterlo pronto appunto in vista degli eventi successivi, e in questo caso poi ha deciso di farlo entrare ovviamente a inizio secondo tempo. Negli altri campi io direi proprio voglia di far fare esperienza a questi ragazzi.
E null'altro, visto che comunque si disputa un mondiale e visto che comunque è giusto mettere in mostra a certi ragazzi che vengono da tanto lontano, non da lontanissimo da Diogo, posizione della sinistra, avete un avversario per Alvaro Morata, che questa è una giocata visionaria appunto, cioè capire che alle spalle di tutti stava per partire Alvaro Morata e andare a mettere il pallone praticamente a metà strada tra l'area piccola e l'uscita del portiere è qualcosa che possa mettersi in pochi. Gran giocata di Ruiz in profondità, cambia la posizione regolare secondo il guardaline, che poi però ci ripensa e dice che no, è fuori gioco e quindi calcio di punizione in favore della Spagna. Siamo a ridosso della mezz'ora, 29esimo minuto, si sta giocando una quindicina di secondi nel corso della ripresa. È ovvio, gentili ascoltatori, che noi vi stiamo raccontando ormai da parecchio, sostanzialmente dal quarto d'ora, il 20esimo minuto del primo tempo, partita senza assolutamente storia, una partita in cui la Spagna è talmente forte da potersi concedere una sorta di allenamento, seppur all'esordio mondiale, contro comunque una nazionale del suo raggruppamento, una nazionale non fortissima, ma che ci aspettavamo perlomeno più tenace, più ostica.
Con Francesco Repice comunque insomma il ragionamento che stava facendo Francesco Repice, mentre attenzione c'è il quinto gol da parte della Spagna che proprio in questo momento va a realizzare con Gavi e va a rendere ancora più rotondo il risultato di una partita che, come ci stava dicendo Francesco Repice, di fatto era senza storia dal 2-0 della Spagna nel primo tempo contro la Costa Rica, e che con l'ultimo sigillo da parte di Gavi diventa ancora più come dire rotonda nel risultato ed eloquente per quello che che riguarda quello che potremmo poi successivamente andarci ad aspettare nel prosieguo del Mondiale della Spagna. La regia ci mostra la posizione regolare da parte di Alvaro Morata, poi l'uscita di Keylor Navas, Morata che rimette il pallone in mezzo e arriva a volo Gavi con l'esterno destro, un gol di un'altra qualità veramente impressionante, al volo d'esterno destro al limite dell'area di rigore, la palla che va a lambire il palo, anzi lo tocca proprio il palo e poi va ad infilarsi alle spalle di Keylor Navas. Una Spagna assolutamente dominante, una Spagna pericolosissima per tutte quante le altre compagini che avranno voglio dire, la voglia e l'intenzione di andare avanti, di andare fino in fondo in questo campionato del mondo, e questo rende anche molto decisamente complicato anche il pomeriggio dei tifosi della Germania. Era in un match che potrebbe essere paradossalmente anche insomma decisivo per il proseguo del mondiale della squadra tedesca. Insomma, è un qualcosa che non farà dormire sonni tranquilli né ai tifosi della compagine, continua comunque a proseguire nel suo ipnotico giro palla. Credo che abbiamo recuperato nel frattempo Francesco Rebice.
Sì, grazie a Manuel Codignoni, grazie soprattutto a Federico Foroni che è immediatamente intervenuto per risolvere il piccolo problema tecnico non dovuto alla nostra volontà. Io non so fino a che punto siamo arrivati nel racconto di quel gol, il quinto della Spagna ad opera di Gavi. Io l'ho definito proprio di rinterzo con il pallone sulla sponda lunga e poi in porta per il 5-0, filotto, insomma punteggio pieno. E 5-0 che non ammette repliche, e questa l'ho definita roba da cinema, voglio chiare l'oscuro, ma insomma abbiamo assistito a qualcosa di prodigioso prima nella progressione di Balde che praticamente è andato via a tutta la squadra del Costa Rica, poi a questo traversone che è arrivato di Alvaro Morata che è sfuggito alla guardia di Keylor Navas, uscito disperatamente nel tentativo di fermarne l'incompere verso la sua porta. Il cross del giocatore dell'Atletico di Madrid è arrivato dal limite dell'area con l'esterno collopiede, appunto Gavi ha guardato il portiere e ha messo il pallone tra Keylor Navas e il paletto alla sua sinistra. Una giocata da biliardo, appunto, così l'ho definita. Non credo di essere andato molto distante dalla realtà. Per il momento ci informano comunque qui dal Qatar e da Doha che gli spettatori all'Al-Thumama sono poco più di 40.000, è stato di fatto il tutto esaurito.
Insomma, l'atmosfera del resto è importante, lo dicevamo anche in serie di presentazione, due tifoserie calde affezionate alle proprie squadre, quella spagnola ma anche quella della formazione centroamericana del Costa Rica, encomiabili i tifosi che hanno continuato comunque a supportare la loro squadra nonostante si tratti di fatto di una serata da incubo per la compagine allenata da Luis Fernando Suarez, ma insomma contro la qualità di questi spagnoli diventa difficile non solamente per la Costa Rica ma per tutti quanti cercare insomma di poter dire qualcosa, e lo scopriranno in successione. Germania prima e Giappone poi, soprattutto insomma il match con la Germania, ripeto, sarà veramente da vedere, forse una delle partite più interessanti, se non la più interessante in assoluto di questa fase dei gironi eliminatori di questo mondiale.
Anche perché Codignoni è ovvio che la Spagna ha tutto l'interesse, se può, a far fuori la Germania dal mondiale,
Assolutamente,
che si troverebbe un'avversaria, una pretendente al titolo fuori dai giochi, che non è di poco conto nella prima fase. Ora c'è una piccola zuffa nell'area di rigore della Spagna, perché credo che abbia esagerato Winston nell'entrata alle spalle appunto di un avversario. Qualcuno se l'è presa, qualche giocatore della Costa Rica è andato a dire in partita: ok ragazzino, stai calmo perché hai fatto sì il bello e il cattivo tempo, ma insomma sta vincendo 5-0 e non è il caso di lasciarsi andare a certe reazioni. Ed infatti insomma, il numero 19, colui che si era reso colpevole di quel fallo ai danni dell'avversario, non ha assolutamente battuto ciglio, se n'è tornato nella sua metà campo, non ha inteso in qualche modo dar modo di qualche maniera dalla possibilità agli spagnoli di reagire alla sua prepotenza fisica, e allora viene semplicemente richiamato all'arbitro il signor Mohamed Abdullah della Federazione degli Emirati Arabi a dire anche qualcosa a Gavi. Tra i due il duello fisico, insomma, fossimo in Gavi lasceremmo stare. Mettiamola così.
Diciamo che gli cede qualche buon centimetro e qualche buon chilo, nell'ordine della ventina di chili secondo me, al povero Gavi, chili di muscolo.
Sì, perché stanno entrato poi affossando letteralmente la porta, che non è esattamente piccolissimo. Allora se l'è presa un po' Gavi, tutto è bene ciò che finisce bene, ed allora si prosegue a giocare con questo calcio di punizione in fuori della Spagna. Siamo al 35esimo nel corso della ripresa qui all'Al-Thumama Stadium di Doha, si è in vantaggio per 5-0. Ci augureremmo che veramente finisse questa partita il più presto possibile per i giocatori della Costa Rica. Ma attacca Nico Williams da destra, salta l'avversario, mette il pallone in mezzo, in qualche maniera Voler ha chiuso una diagonale perfetta ed è riuscito ad evitare che Morata potesse intervenire al ridosso della linea di porta per sistemare alle spalle di Keylor Navas il pallone del 6-0. Ci provano ancora gli uomini della Costa Rica, vengono assaliti dalle furie rosse, è il caso di chiamarle proprio così stasera, anche quando non sono in possesso del pallone, e proprio grazie a quella furia e grazie a quel pressing che per la verità molto organizzato riescono immediatamente a riappropriarsene. Siamo al 36esimo, Spagna in vantaggio sulla Costa Rica per 5-0. Ovviamente non c'è mai stata partita, ma ovviamente adesso la Spagna potrà dedicarsi a quello che è poco più che un allenamento ormai dal 20esimo del primo tempo, quando hanno capito gli uomini di Luis Enrique che stasera sarebbe stato tutto facile. Non è mai facile per aprire certe partite, mettere subito i puntini sulle i, far capire qual è il più whether Fuller could get back again. It was an open goal for Morata, and they're lining up now. But Gavi, yeah, impressive. Seen him for Barcelona a number of times live, and he's very good against the teams which aren't so good. He comes up against the really good sides in the Champions League. He's been the question. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's got time to improve, but he's in a World Cup. He's been playing in the Champions League. He's also now.
Absolutely. The 18-year-old, the records do just keep tumbling, but as Rob says, he will face super tests. Certainly will do him the world of good to get this game, this performance and all under his belt in this opening match of the World Cup. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0. 9 minutes plus added time to play here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds as the ball is through into the penalty area. Morata, good save by the knees of Navas, and now the flag goes up and Morata waves a hand in frustration, but Navas did well there.
Yep, stood up on the angle, knew that it suited him. He was offside and very tight again. His touch wasn't great from Morata, tucking wide, and Navas knew that, just waited for them to make the save.
Final change for Costa Rica, a rest for Brian Oviedo. Ronald Matarrita is on. And Costa Rica now have just over 9 minutes plus added time to try and stop this getting any worse as Azpilicueta comes forward. A roar of frustration for the Chelsea captain. Just handled the ball as he came forward, and it's a free kick to Costa Rica.
They're playing out now, and it's taken 2 passes for them to almost lose the ball. And I think 8.5, 9 minutes to go. Get it as far away from your own goal as possible, really.
Ball forwards goes out for a Costa Rican throw. Matarrita just on. Will take it by to trail by 5-0. And Navas clears the ball over halfway. Header won by Rod to half.
It's been an absolute cruise. There was once he had to stretch his legs, once he had to do something that he thought was above and beyond, and that's been it. I think there's been a number of cases for Luis Enrique where people have enhanced their causes, and that's been one for him at centre-half. He has done it before, maybe a bit of an experiment. There are centre-halves in this Spain side. You're looking at Pau Torres in particular, very good centre-half for Villarreal, but he's been chosen. Eric Garcia, one for Barcelona, not chosen again. So there's a lot of players enhance the course here.
Balde looking to do just that on for this cameo at the end of the match. Out on the left-hand side of Spain, working out to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. As Williams ahead of him, goes in field instead to Koke, who's working his way around that centre circle and now out to left-hand side. Goes Laporte, exchanges passes with Dani Olmo and back in field, and again Spain just very patiently playing this around, looking to play it now. The top looking for Nico Williams, but too much on it, and it's behind for a Costa Rica goal kick.
You're looking around saying there's 40,000 here. Right, we're down to about 10 now. 12,000 of hardy souls sticking out before the end of the game. It's been done and dusted for a long time, and really unfortunate for Costa Rica fans who've made journey, spent a lot of money coming. It's one that they knew they were up against it from the get-go. As soon as this group was drawn, and very little in this game to say that it's going to be anything but difficult.
Yeah, Costa Rica have it just outside their own penalty area. Nico Williams gets a foot in and will retain possession for Spain, but plays it straight into Brian Ruiz, and Costa Rica should be able to clear away. Yeah, they navigated such a difficult group in 2014, Costa Rica, but very different proposition now after being hammered in their first game in 2014. They beat Italy, they beat Uruguay, they drew, of course, with England under Roy Hodgson, and it was that positive start that meant that they were able to progress through as they did all the way to the quarterfinals. But as they have it back inside their own penalty area with Navas, we talk about Spain. I mean, yes, Costa Rica have just been a class below them, but again, we think Germany, who lost today to Japan, we think Argentina, who lost yesterday to Saudi Arabia. Spain have come out, like France did, like England did, got the job done, and it's only the third time in their history they've scored 5 or more goals in a World Cup match. They did it in '86 against Denmark. They did it in '98 against Bulgaria. And in fact, if they get one more goal, it'll be their biggest winning margin of victory at a World Cup as well. So it is important, potentially, in a tournament where we're seeing the likes of Germany and Argentina stutter, that do put of a marker, as well as doing the first job of navigating this match as they have it on the halfway line.
And it's been such a cruise. It's been a training game in many respects, a training session that you say a good exercise, but also next game coming up, Germany, then Japan. The games are coming thick and fast, and after that you say, because it's such a cruise, because they've not had to play 100% for over an hour, really.
They're coming down the left-hand side once again. Dani Olmo picks it up, free kick as well, midway inside their own half. Not had too much chance to see much of Brandon Aguilera, the 19-year-old, since coming on. He's currently on loan at Guanacaste from Nottingham Forest. He's seen by many in Costa Rica as the natural successor to Brian Ruiz, which is always one of those you don't want to quite put on a young player, but he will hope that he has chances with Costa Rica at this tournament to just show a little bit of why people in his home country feel that he could be one of the next best things as Nico Williams comes forward for Spain. Well covered by Waston, but only out of play for a Spain throw into the final 3 minutes plus added time. Spain 5, Costa Rica 0.
There's been a subdued atmosphere in the ground, really, almost from the get-go. People realised just how quick, how good that Spain have been, how much they sort of just sat back and enjoyed it, really. It's been a consummate performance from them, a very comfortable performance from them. I'll take great heart from this, and as I was saying, we know how we feel, we know how we shoot, we've got a shape, we found a team, we've got a lot of ticks in the box, not else much you could say.
Here is Dani Olmo, 25 yards out, slide it through. This would round it off if there was a goal for Alvaro Morata. But in the end, it's all the way through to Navas.
I think that's the one. I think if he said what would make it ideal, it's one goal for Alvaro Morata, just to get him off and running, because he's the out-and-out centre forward. Really, anyone, if you said, give us a number 9 for Spain, Asensio played there today, he can play there, and he has played there for Real Madrid, but he's not a focal point. He's not a number 9. On today's performance, I don't need one.
Well, that's it, isn't it? As you say, so the only now striker in the squad, but the false 9, the fluidity, and it's one of those where, yes, it's a false 9, but when they play there so regularly and they almost take on the attributes of a centre forward as well, it just gives Spain so many options. And as we touched on as well, they've got the options in defence as well. So that is the story developing at this tournament. Not sure we can confidently predicts what ending the story will have, but this is a Spain side who are young, they're exciting, they played very well today, they will face bigger tests, and the next one is the biggest you would think they'll face in the group, although maybe shouldn't say that given that Japan have beaten Germany, but they are up against Germany, a Germany side who know that that game for them now, having lost to Japan today, is absolutely huge. As the ball is into the area from Nico Williams, Navas makes the save, the follow-up is netted by Carlos Soler, and Spain do have their 6th goal. It's their biggest winning margin at a World Cup in their history. They have swept Costa Rica away. 6-0 they lead.
Again, so simple, but the quality's there. Nico Williams on the right-hand side gets the ball wide out on the touchline. That's where damage has been caused today. Very, very wide, stretching the game wide, takes his man on. Navas has to step in, has to do something. Morata's there waiting. All he can do, an outstretched arm, lays it on a plate for Soler. Realistically, it's been a walk in the park for Spain. They'll come, dust themselves down, walk off, and they are not grateful for this news.
The news for Costa Rica
aren't, sorry.
is that there's 8 minutes of added time. Oh, blow the whistle. Poor Costa Rica, blow the whistle, referee. But you touched on it earlier, Rob. It's enjoyment from this stadium. They've enjoyed this spectacle, this show that Spain have put on. And yes, it's not been a contest. We've known that from 30 minutes in when Spain went 3-0 up. But it's been very, very good to watch from Spain.
It's been a fantastic performance by them. It's just a shame not everyone stayed to see it all.
Can Costa Rica get a consolation? Can they stop it being Spain's biggest winning margin at a World Cup? Joel Campbell swings the ball in, and Unai Simon, well, I make that probably the hardest thing he's had to do all game, take that cross, and he did it well.
It's the first time he's had to intervene in the game other than receiving back passes, which is not an intervention. You're just receiving the ball from your teammate, falling on the ball. That's actually something where he's had to stop the other opposition doing anything. And again, kind of just sums it all up, doesn't it?
Spain, you sense, might not be done yet. They've got 7 further minutes of added time to try and get a 7th goal against Costa Rica here on Live and BBC Sounds. And as you say, Rob mentioned a few minutes earlier, Costa Rica really struggling now in terms of legs. Duarte's just slid in there and didn't get anywhere near the ball, didn't get near the player in the end either, but
it's that far off.
Yeah, it's Rob. Spain going down the right-hand side. Here is Gavi, who's become their youngest scorer at a World Cup in their history. The records continue to tumble for him. Now Nico Williams, Morata. Can the number 7 get the 7th? Yes, he can! 7th heaven for Spain and for Morata. And that is the cherry on top of the cake that they wanted. Alvaro Morata, such a confidence player, gets his goal. And what a is to this World Cup from Spain. 7-0. They are thrashing Costa Rica.
The last box is ticked for Luis Enrique, and that was the biggest celebration of the lot by the goal scorer. He was thrilled, and it's a really, really good goal. 1-touch, 2-touch football on the edge of the box. Yes, there's limited opposition around mannequins. It's been like that for over an hour and a half now, and saying it's a really, really good finish. A tidy bottom corner with his weaker foot. Just feels it in the corner. You don't have to mash them in. Just bend it in that far corner. Same when that 8 minutes worth of injury time went up, it just felt like it was the final body blow for Costa Rica, and they're on the floor. They're done.
Although we've just seen a brilliant piece of skill from the centre half, Francisco Calvo. Lovely little turn as the ball is chipped into the area by Brian Ruiz, but Simon is right underneath it. Well, 8 minutes of added time, might it end up being 8-0? You wouldn't bet against it. We've still got 5 to play.
There's no opposition now. It's a case of picking passes and picking the right pass, finding the space, because Costa Rica have stopped running. They've stopped moving, and it's just a shame that it's ended in such a way, in such a, I don't want to use the word humiliation, but it is a humiliating defeat.
Gavi goes down, wins a free kick off Aguilera. Spain get things moving. Shock win over Germany earlier today. Morocco 0-0 against Croatia, the other score, and we have seen Spain put 7 past Costa Rica. Tomorrow on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, 4 games for you, 4 a day at this World Cup in the group stages, including one of the favourites, Brazil. Rick Edwards will have all the build-up tracked by Gavi. And out to the right-hand side, and Nico Williams plays the ball back to Gavi once more as Costa Rica, to be fair to them, particularly the substitutes, they're trying to close down, they're trying to stop the spaces and the gaps opening up. But as you say, Rob, humiliation is the word for it. 7-0 they trail.
I'm just waiting for you to ask me, have you ever lost 7-0?
Have you ever lost 7-0, Rob?
6,
Green?
lots of times, never 7.
Ah, there you go. Spain in possession with Dani Olmo out to the left-hand side as they balls once more. Here is Balde, back to Olmo. The stands emptying around us, but the fans who are staying are enjoying still Spain playing some lovely stuff as Gavi goes in. The ball is laid off and the miscue on the edge of the area from Carlos Soler, who's already got one. About 8, but it stays at 7.
Yep, they've had the chances. Looking now 15 shots in the game. Been clinical. Keylor Navas has barely made a save from the shots on target. Producer Gary just pointing out over 1,000 passes completed in the game from Spain. That is just pretty much a death by 1,000 cuts, a death by 1,000 passes.
And by 7 goals.
Good.
As well.
There's that as well.
Spain in possession. We have 2 minutes of added time to play until Costa Rica are put out of their misery, but Spain are not letting up still. They're down to the edge of the penalty area. Morata lays it off to Olmo, but they've won a free kick right on the edge of the box. Spain, Balde going down. It'll be a yellow card as well. And I don't know how much worse it can get. Well, I do. It can get 8-0 worse for Costa Rica, but they just want to get off the pitch now.
What you would say is that the one consolation, or one of the few consolations in the side, is that Calvo has done very well not to get sent off in the game, because that could have made it really bad.
It's Joel Campbell who's gone into the book there, but yes, Campbell, the other Costa Rica player, booked. In Spain, with Carlos Soler preparing to take this free kick from the left-hand side. And you have 3 red shirts in the penalty area. Again, you have so many dotted around. They could just play it in that arc, couldn't they, and almost work it to the penalty spot. Let's see what they do. 4 red shirts now into the penalty area. Spain prepare to whip this free kick in, and the referee, they do keep doing this, that they're so hot on conversations even really in the penalty area. They don't want to see any pushing and shoving the referee, so just making sure that that is not occurring. And now Spain will be able to take this free kick from the left-hand side. It's whipped in, it's cleared away by Costa Rica. It's out for a Spain throw.
Well, that was a wasteful opportunity there. Well, that's about it, really, for criticisms for Spain. 1 poor pass in there, in over 1,000. It's not that bad.
In possession on the Hots will turn very shortly to Germany on Sunday. Japan next Thursday. Costa Rica, well, you never say that a World Cup is already over after the first game. But it's been a humiliation for the Costa Ricans. It has been simply sublime from Spain. 7-0. And Rob Green, you couldn't have asked for a more perfect performance.
It's absolutely what they wanted. It's what they needed coming into this tournament. Had a few questions. Young players coming in. Can they find a way to play? Can they come up with answers? Well, it's been a perfect training session for them, because that's pretty much what it's been. It's not been a contest. It's been a training session for them, a warm-up, bigger games to come. And if you're getting over 1,000 passes in a game, then that's an incredible achievement. And to win any is a brilliant achievement. They really have been brilliant in this game.
And a bit of history as well for Spain. Their biggest World Cup win in their history. Gavi becoming their youngest World Cup goal scorer, and Alvaro Morata getting his goal as well to round off the 7. I can tell you, Kelly, that Pierre Balaguer has a very big smile on his face to my left, because it's finished. Spain 7, Costa Rica 0.
Yes, 7 up for Spain, and they were absolutely sparkling against Costa Rica. The trick, Guillaume, is going to be keeping Spanish feet on the ground ahead of the next 2 group stage matches.
Nah, forget it. Let us fly.
Embrace it.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
what we want,
Oh my
Guillaume.
God.
Yes.
I bet for 89 minutes you've been saying, oh, wow. But all I heard was Rob saying, oh, so many passes and a training session, and you saying, put the feet down. No, 7-0. You know, in the last 10 tournaments, we only won twice in the last 10 tournaments, the first game of the tournament. So this was unbelievable. The first half. Stop the tournament now. Finish it now. Stop it on goal difference.
Stop the count.
Win it on goal difference.
I
It
tell
was
you
so
what,
pleasant to see.
In terms of stopping the count, one personal note, Vicky Sparks, you are top of the Golden Mike leaderboard. Vicky has commentated on more goals than any other commentator. You're on 9, John Murray on 8, Alice Brisbane on 6, Deno on 4. So there you go.
I didn't even think about that, but I had a 0-0 yesterday as well, so I'm very pleased with myself.
Kelly, are we doing a co-commentators cup, because I think I'm on 15 now.
This is, I tell you what, you're as bad as this.
After 2 games.
This was what you thought you got in the bauble game on breakfast as well with Rick. You're having a recount on that one as well. Go on.
That's for the adjudicator. I'm definitely on 15 goals so far.
Guillaume, look, a little bit more on Spain, the performance that they put in tonight. I mean, I was trying to think, in a sensible frame of mind and think, do you know what, just steady. It's been a good result. It's not been great opposition. Really good performance. But you look at the celebration of Alvaro Morata for that 7th goal. And what you're saying is absolutely right. This is a Spain team that are doing what their manager Luis Enrique has told them and making football fun.
Yes, it's fun. They're all enjoying it, and you're absolutely right in pointing out that there's 3 or 4 things that have been outstanding. The defending, the ability to keep the ball, the high tempo that they kept having for most of the game. There was a little bit that it dropped, but then they brought players on, and they are hungry, especially Morata. His face when he came on, he said everything, I want to score. This is my stage. I should have started. Fine. He can be upset, not a problem. And like him, others want to make an impact. Alejandro Valde, for instance, his debut, this 12 games with Barcelona, and he felt like he was just dominating the stage well. The same with Nico Williams on the right-hand side when he came on. But generally, it was just the perfect performance that after 3 goals, you could see that Costa Rica had completely given up. But you never know. We always give rivals a chance. They always attack us. How many shots on target, on goal for Costa Rica? Not many. Attempts on goal, 0. Corners, 0. It's just in the World Cup, you don't get these kind of performances. The same way you don't get the kind of performances that England gave against Iran. So we're talking about the same kind of level. They are, at the moment, it seems, ahead of the rest.
So Spain with a 7-0 victory against Costa Rica. Spain in 7th heaven after this game. They're all coming out now. Every single cliche to do with 7 will be making its way on the airwaves this evening. 82% possession in that game, 17 shots, 8 on target, 5 corners, and Spain win it by 7 goals to 0. Guillaume, thank you very much for joining us. Vicky and Bob, thank you very much for this evening as well. Vicky, you've got an early one tomorrow. You're on with Pat from 10 o'clock in the morning for Switzerland, Cameroon, aren't you?
I am indeed. So I'm going to go and finish my prep for that. But yeah, I'm not too sure we'll get 7, but we'll see.
Listen, all you need to keep at the top of the Golden Mike leaderboard. Vicky Sparks, Rob Green, thank you very much for your company this evening. And our attention now turns to the second game from Group F. It's Belgium against Canada. We'll hear from former Belgium captain Vincent Company next after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
Take the World Cup with you. Qatar 2022. On BBC Sounds, this is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Nicola Sturgeon says she'll use the next general election as a de facto vote on independence. The Supreme Court has ruled that Scotland can't hold another referendum without Westminster's say-so. Downing Street says it's a clear and definitive ruling. Blair Jenkins campaigned for independence during the 2014 vote.
Now this whole issue about Scotland's right to choose independence has to move back to where it properly belongs, which is in the political arena. The issue about a new independence referendum, for which the Scottish Government have a very clear mandate, quite properly requires a political solution, and that's what now has to happen.
Russia has targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure again with more missile strikes. Some have hit houses and flats. At least 4 people were killed in the capital, Kyiv. Royal Mail strikes planned for the run-up to Christmas will go ahead after talks ended without agreement. Members of the Communication Workers Union will walk out for another 10 days, including tomorrow and Black Friday, in a dispute about jobs, pay and conditions. Police are investigating homophobic hate mail sent to the former rugby referee Nigel Owens. He came out as gay in 2007 and thinks the letters could have happened because of the World Cup. Former Wales international Gareth Thomas has also received homophobic messages. There's no extra risk to a woman or her baby if she becomes pregnant within a few months of a miscarriage or abortion. That's the finding of a major new study in Norway. The World Health Organization currently recommends at least a 6-month gap to give prospective mums time to recover. Ruth Bender-Attic is from the Miscarriage Association.
Most people will know when it's right for them to start trying again. For some people, they desperately want to fill that gap, but other people will want to wait a longer period of time. So what this is doing is it's giving women and their partners the confidence to start to try again when they feel it's right for them.
And a former Paralympian from Surrey could become the first disabled person in space. John McFall, who's 41, has been selected to join the European Space Agency's training programme alongside other astronauts from the UK. News Ellie has the travel.
In the latest travel news, in West Yorkshire on the M606 southbound, all traffic is being held at the moment. That's before Junction 2 for the Euroway Trading Estate. Congestion is back to Junction 3 at the Staygate roundabout currently. In Greater Manchester, the M60 anti-clockwise, 2 lanes are closed from Junction 14 to 13 for Worsley. There's been a vehicle fire there, so expect delays. The M48 Severn Bridge is closed in both directions because of strong winds this evening, so expect delays on the diversion route. On the M4 westbound, 1 lane is closed between Junction 20 and 27 for High Cross. There's been an accident there and congestion is back to Junction 25. 2 lanes are closed on the M14 northbound after Junction 11 for Banbury. There's been emergency bridge repairs at Rochton is back to Junction 10 for Brackley. And in Surrey on the M3 southbound, there's a lane closed from Junction 3 for Lightwater to 4. Delays of 25 minutes. Ellie Brennan, 5 Live Travel.
The best live sports.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022.
Coverage of every game on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. On Friday, Group B continues with Wales versus Iran at 10.
Gareth Bale has delivered on the biggest stage of all.
And England versus USA at 7.
Wilson now into the area, plays it across. Grealish! What a start for England in Doha.
Take the World Cup with you.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
BBC 5 Live. The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022 with Kelly Cates.
Hello from Doha as we build up to our 4th game of the day. It's Belgium against Canada. Canada back at the World Cup after a 36-year absence. And for Belgium, of course, it's about the golden generation. This is the final chance for them to win a major tournament. Can they do it? Pat Nevin is still with us. Our team at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium. John Murray and Dion Dublin. Dion taking time out from his busy schedule in which he's doing the Qatar version of Homes Under the Hammer, Dion.
Listen, coming to the stadium tonight, came here to watch Wales against USA, didn't recognise I was back in the same stadium. However, when I came into the concourse, I realised that all the rooms have been locked through, so we don't have to do any kitchen diners anywhere. Everything is fine.
That's one of the phrases that you use regularly on Homes Under the Hammer. This, from Gary Lineker's Twitter, is the other.
Oh, it's bright. It's nice and bright. We've got some really good sort of bay windows letting loads of light, which is good. And we've got the stairs, which is incredible.
Dion and all pundits are proving to be comfortable roommates together for this World Cup. What about the Teen News, John Murray? Are they a comfortable set of players?
Well, for the Belgians, the questions really were who was going to play as the third central defender with Vertonghen and Alderweireld, and the answer to that is Leander Den Donker of Aston Villa, and also who would play at left wing back, and the nod there has gone to Yannick Carrasco of Atletico Madrid. Romelu Lukaku is out of this. He's not fit enough yet. He's had a hamstring problem, so it is, as expected, Michy Batshuayi who starts as the centre forward. Thomas Meunier has got a broken bone, so it was quite a straightforward choice for Timothy Castagna to play there. So let me just run you through that Belgian side in full. Courtois in goal, then Donker, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, Castagna, Tielemans, Witsel and Carrasco, Kevin De Bruyne, Eden Hazard the captain, and Michy Batshuayi. And for Canada, the great story is that Atiba Hutchinson, the captain, plays. So that means he will become the second oldest outfield player at the World Cup, in the history of the World Cup. At 39 years old, he's in the centre of the Canadian midfield, and Alphonso Davies is fit as well. That's important for them. I think he's going to play at left back tonight, the Bayern Munich man. And Jonathan David, the highly rated Jonathan David of Lille, is the centre forward for Canada. So Boyan in goal for them, Johnston, Vittoria, Miller and Davis, Hutchinson and Eustachio, and then Buchanan, Junior Hoylett of Reading, Laria and David up front.
Darren, plenty of familiar names in that Canada lineup, but for Belgium, there is so much star quality in there. And as we keep saying, this is a last opportunity for that golden generation.
Of course,